Your First 365 Days in Real Estate by Shelley Zavitz. Introduction. What if the next 365 days could completely redefine your life? Not just your career, not just your income, but your confidence, your sense of purpose, and your entire future. That's not an exaggeration. It's a reality for those bold enough to commit fully to their first year in real estate. If you've just received your real estate license or you're standing on the edge of this new journey, you're in the right place. Because what you do in these next 12 months won't just determine whether you close a few deals, it will shape who you become. This is more than a career. It's a transformation. In this video, we're diving deep into the wisdom of your first 365 days in real estate by Shelley Zavitz, a no-fluff, real-world blueprint for every new agent who wants to turn uncertainty into action, fear into fuel, and potential into power. Shelley wasn't born a natural closer. She wasn't handed a warm list of leads or given a silver spoon career. She started with 0 deals, 0 experience, and 0 clue. But what she did have was a clear mindset, an unshakable drive, and a system she built day by day. And the results? A thriving career in one of the most competitive industries in the world. This isn't just a summary of a book. It's your survival guide for real estate. Why? Because the truth is brutal. Most new agents don't make it past their first year. The honeymoon fades fast. The promises of flexibility, freedom, and fast money quickly turn into frustration, doubt, and disappointment. But here's the secret. The ones who succeed didn't start with more talent. They started with a better strategy, a mentor-like mindset, and a willingness to show up daily, even when nothing seemed to be working. This video is your launchpad. We're going to walk through each step Shelley Zavitz took. Every mindset shift, every critical skill, every daily habit that moved her from rookie to respected professional. You'll learn how to build your business from scratch, how to communicate like a pro, how to manage your time and energy, how to handle failure, and most importantly, how to believe in yourself even when you feel completely out of your depth. So if you're ready to go beyond the license and start building a legacy, if you're tired of guessing and ready to grow, if you want the honest truth and the proven path, then lock in. This is going to be a game changer. The first year doesn't have to break you. It can build you into someone you never imagined. Let's make this year the one that changes everything. Section 1. The day you get your license. The real beginning. The day you pass your real estate exam and receive that coveted license in your hands. It feels like a finish line. You breathe a sigh of relief. After all the studying, the stress, the waiting, you did it. You're official. You're ready to be a real estate agent. But here's the truth that catches most people off guard. That license isn't a golden ticket to success. It's not the end of your journey. It's the very beginning. In fact, it's the moment where the real race begins, and most new agents don't even realize they're standing at the starting blocks. Shelley Zavitz puts it perfectly in Your First 365 Days in Real Estate. The license is just your permission to enter the arena. It doesn't guarantee clients, it doesn't guarantee income, and it definitely doesn't guarantee confidence. It's a door. What lies beyond it depends entirely on what you choose to do next. Too many new agents treat getting licensed like it's job security. They assume that once they've got that paper in hand, the universe will conspire to hand them buyers, sellers, listings, and closings. But Shelley's story shatters that myth. She remembers staring at her license, this official-looking piece of paper with her name on it, and expecting some kind of magic to happen. But nothing happened. No phone rang, no clients called, no opportunities appeared out of thin air. It was just her, a license, and a decision. Do I wait, or do I work? That's the moment everything changes. It's the realization that real estate is 100% self-driven. No one's coming to tell you what to do next. No boss is standing over your shoulder. There's no set path or checklist that guarantees success. It's a wide-open world, and that can either be terrifying or empowering. The choice is yours. But you need to understand this. The day you get your license is the day you become a business owner. You're not just an employee. You're the CEO of your future. Why does this shift in mindset matter so much? Because without it, you'll stall. You'll sit at your desk with a license and wonder why the deals aren't coming in. You'll waste weeks, maybe months, trying to feel ready instead of taking messy, imperfect action. You'll start comparing yourself to top producers, thinking you're behind, not realizing that they also started exactly where you are, at zero. Passing the test didn't make them successful. Deciding to show up every single day did. So how do you take this knowledge and actually apply it? You start by reframing your perspective. Stop thinking, "I've arrived." Instead, start saying to yourself, "Now the real work begins." And that work begins with building systems. You need to create a structure for your business before you start operating in chaos. That means deciding how you'll manage your time, how you'll keep track of contacts, how you'll follow up, and how you'll stay consistent. Systems don't sound sexy, but they separate the pros from the dabblers. Next, you need to start thinking about your brand, not in the corporate marketing sense, but in the human one. What kind of agent do you want to be known as? What values will define your work? What kind of experience will people get when they work with you? Shelley urges new agents to define their identity early, because if you don't, the market will define it for you. Are you approachable, tech-savvy, neighborhood smart, great with first-time buyers? Figure it out and own it. Then, perhaps most importantly, you need to start talking. Not just posting on Instagram or printing business cards, but actually talking to people. Your friends, your family, your barista, your neighbors. Let people know what you're doing and why you're passionate about it. Don't be salesy. Be real. Be excited. Be hungry to learn and help. Your first deals likely won't come from strangers on the internet. They'll come from people who already know and trust you. Shelley's own story brings this principle to life. She had no clients, no reputation, and no clear plan in the beginning. But she knew one thing. No one was going to come save her. She had to take action. She had to put herself out there. And she had to treat every interaction like it mattered. Because it did. Her first year wasn't about closing deals. It was about building confidence, learning the language, showing up with integrity, and proving to herself that she could figure it out as she went. The day she stopped waiting and started doing, that was the real beginning of her career. And that brings us to you. Today is the day you decide what kind of beginning this is. Is it the day you sit back and hope things happen? Or is it the day you stand up and make things happen? No one will remember how fast you passed the exam, but they will remember how you made them feel, how committed you were, and how relentlessly you pursued excellence. Your first 365 days don't need to be perfect, but they need to be intentional. So here's your challenge, your first moment of action. What is one thing you can do today to begin building momentum? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Can you write out your daily schedule? Reach out to 5 friends and let them know you're in real estate? Create a list of your goals for the next 90 days? Whatever it is, do it now. Because every single top producer started with one brave step. And this, right now, could be yours. You've got your license. That's a beautiful start, but it's not the destination. It's the key. Now you get to build something real, something powerful, something entirely your own. Welcome to the beginning of everything. Section 2. Building your business from scratch. The moment you receive your real estate license, you're not just a new agent. You're a new entrepreneur. You're no longer an employee waiting for tasks to be assigned or a paycheck to arrive at the end of the month. You are now the CEO, the marketing director, the customer service representative, the accountant, and the visionary behind your very own business. And how you approach these first few months will determine not just how many deals you close, but whether you stay in business at all. The harsh truth? If you treat real estate like a hobby, it will pay you like one. But if you embrace it like a business, it can transform your entire life. This shift in identity, from employee to business owner, is one of the most powerful and overlooked aspects of starting in real estate. Shelley Zavitz, in Your First 365 Days in Real Estate, emphasizes that this isn't just about switching careers. It's about stepping into a completely different way of thinking and operating. Real estate isn't a job you clock in and out of. It's a living, breathing venture that requires vision, systems, and structure. If you don't treat it seriously from day one, the business won't be there when you need it most. So what does it mean to act like a business owner? It starts with creating a real, intentional business plan. Not a vague list of dreams or hopes, but a concrete, written plan that outlines who you want to serve, how you will reach them, and what kind of income you want to earn. Shelley didn't wait around to figure things out organically. She sat down with a journal and sketched out her first 90 days, what she would focus on, what she needed to learn, and how she would generate leads. She didn't have all the answers, but she created a roadmap. And that map gave her direction when things got overwhelming, which they always do in the beginning. Your business plan should start with clarity. Ask yourself, what kind of real estate agent do I want to be? Do I want to work primarily with buyers, sellers, investors, first-time homeowners? Do I want to specialize in a specific neighborhood, property type, or price range? The clearer you are, the easier it is to attract the right clients and build the right marketing strategies. Shelley made a bold but strategic decision. She wanted to become a listing agent. While many new agents chase any and every lead, Shelley focused her energy on understanding the listing process, marketing homes, and delivering exceptional seller experiences. That decision allowed her to stand out in a sea of generalists. Next, you need to define your income goals. This isn't just about dreaming of big commissions. It's about understanding the numbers behind your success. How much do you want to earn in your first year? Break that number down. If you want to make $100,000 and your average commission per transaction is $5,000, you need 20 transactions. Now break it down again. How many conversations do you need to have per day to book one appointment? How many appointments to get a signed agreement? The more you understand the math, the more control you have over your outcomes. Structure is also key. One of the biggest temptations in real estate is the illusion of freedom. No one tells you when to wake up, when to work, or how to spend your day. That's liberating and also dangerous. Without a schedule, your business becomes reactive instead of proactive. Shelley stresses the importance of building a daily routine. Block time every morning for lead generation. Block time for learning, follow-up, networking, and marketing. Don't just fit it in. Protect it like your livelihood depends on it, because it does. Also, consider your tools. As a business owner, your systems are everything. From your CRM to your email templates, from your listing presentation to your social media content plan, everything should be designed to make your business more consistent and efficient. Shelley didn't wait until she was busy to start creating systems. She built them early, knowing that future success would require organization. She didn't want to drop the ball when her business grew, so she prepared for that growth before it arrived. Just as importantly, you need to begin tracking everything: your calls, your emails, your appointments, your income, your expenses. You're not just working, you're building data. And that data will teach you what's working, what's not, and where to pivot. One of Shelley's earliest wins came from paying attention to which lead sources brought the most engagement. She didn't chase every shiny object. She doubled down on what delivered. And don't forget, as a business owner, your mindset is your foundation. There will be slow weeks. There will be rejections. There will be moments where fear tries to convince you to quit. That's normal. Shelley didn't avoid those feelings. She faced them head-on. She journaled, reflected, adjusted, and she reminded herself constantly, "This is my business. I am responsible, and I am capable." That mindset made her unstoppable. So let's bring it back to you. Are you treating real estate like a job you got hired for, or a business you're building from the ground up? Have you written down a business plan that includes your income goal, target market, and lead generation strategy? Have you designed a daily structure that holds you accountable? Have you chosen what kind of agent you want to be known as? These aren't just nice ideas. They're necessary pillars if you want to build something that lasts. Here's your challenge. Today, sit down in a quiet space and answer two powerful questions. First, what kind of agent do I want to become? Get specific. Visualize the kind of clients you help, the problems you solve, and the results you deliver. Second, have I written my business plan? If not, start now. Write down your income goal, the number of transactions required, your niche, your marketing approach, and your weekly schedule. You don't need to know everything, but you do need to commit to something and refine it along the way. Because here's the truth: you can either drift or you can design. One leads to frustration, the other leads to freedom. Shelley Zavitz didn't build her real estate career by chance. She built it with intention. So can you. This is your business. Own it from day one. Section 3. Learning the language of real estate. The real estate industry has its own language. It's a complex blend of legal terms, market jargon, negotiation lingo, and communication styles that, to the untrained ear, can sound like a foreign dialect. And for new agents, especially those just stepping into the field, that language can feel intimidating. But here's the truth. Confidence in real estate isn't just about how you look or how charming you are. It's about how clearly you communicate. And communication starts with language. If you want to earn trust, close deals, and position yourself as a professional, you need to speak the language of real estate fluently. Shelley Zavitz drives this point home in your first 365 days in real estate. Early in her career, she faced a moment that would forever change her approach to learning the business. A client asked her a simple question, something about earnest money or contingencies, and she froze. Not because she wasn't smart, not because she didn't care, but because she genuinely didn't know the answer. That single moment, the feeling of being caught off guard and unprepared, lit a fire inside her. She realized that if she couldn't speak the language confidently, she would never be seen as a professional. Worse, she wouldn't even trust herself. That's a pivotal realization for every new agent. You might have a sparkling personality and a great work ethic, but if you can't explain what a due diligence period is or how escrow works, clients will lose faith. They may not say it out loud, but they'll sense it in your hesitation. They'll look elsewhere for someone who speaks the language fluently. In a business where trust is everything, your ability to speak with clarity and confidence can make or break your success. So, how do you get fluent? You immerse yourself. You make real estate your second language. You stop waiting to feel ready and start learning proactively. Shelley didn't just brush up on terms when needed. She treated her vocabulary like a daily workout. She read contracts line by line until the terms became second nature. She reviewed listing descriptions to study how top agents communicated features and benefits. She role-played objections and client conversations, even when it felt awkward. She listened to real estate podcasts while driving, absorbing the tone, structure, and style of seasoned pros. This kind of immersion builds a powerful internal shift. At first, it might feel overwhelming. You'll encounter acronyms you've never seen before: HOA, CMA, LTV, MLS. You'll read contracts that sound like legal riddles. But don't shy away from the discomfort. Lean into it. Because every term you master gives you another tool in your toolkit. Every phrase you clarify makes you more prepared, more professional, and more powerful. Start with the basics. Print out a glossary of common real estate terms and study 5 a day. Write them in your notebook. Use them in mock conversations. Find sample contracts and read them as if you're preparing for an exam. Focus on the parts that confuse you. Highlight them, research them, and ask questions in your brokerage office or mentorship group. Don't be embarrassed. Every experienced agent you admire was once a beginner who didn't know what contingency meant. Another strategy Shelley used was to simulate real-world conversations before they happened. If she had a showing scheduled, she would prep by imagining every possible question the client might ask. What's a pre-approval? How much do I need for a down payment? Why is this home priced above market value? She would write down answers, rehearse them aloud, and be ready for anything. That preparation gave her a calm, competent energy that clients could feel. And don't underestimate the power of listening. Podcasts and YouTube interviews with successful agents can be gold mines for language development. Listen not just for content, but for tone, phrasing, and delivery. How do they explain complicated ideas simply? How do they break down contracts for clients without sounding condescending? Study their rhythm, their confidence, and their vocabulary. Make it your own. Shelley also paid close attention to the written language of real estate, especially in listing descriptions. These short blurbs are carefully crafted pieces of marketing that balance clarity with persuasion. By reading them daily, you begin to understand how to highlight features, tell stories about homes, and use language to spark emotion and urgency. Charming bungalow with hardwood floors and natural light isn't just descriptive, it's an invitation. And as an agent, every word you write or speak is a chance to build connection and credibility. Confidence in real estate doesn't come from faking it until you make it. It comes from putting in the reps, from studying the game, from deciding that you'll no longer be a tourist in the industry. You'll be a native speaker. When a client asks, "What does earnest money mean?" you want to answer not just correctly, but with authority. You want to explain it in a way that makes them feel safe, informed, and excited to work with you. So now the question becomes, what real estate phrase or term intimidates you right now? What's the one word you hope no one brings up in a conversation because you're still not sure what it really means? That's your assignment for today. Don't wait until a client stumps you. Go seek that term out. Learn it. Define it in your own words. And then use it in a conversation today, whether with a colleague, a friend, or a role-play partner. Because every time you do that, you shrink the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. You build a version of yourself who no longer fears the conversation, but leads it. A version of you that clients don't just like, they trust. And in this business, trust is the currency that closes deals. Learning the language of real estate is more than memorizing definitions. It's about building a voice that guides, informs, and reassures. A voice that says, "You're in good hands." A voice that sounds like a leader. And that voice is already inside you. It's just waiting to be developed. So don't let vocabulary be your barrier. Let it be your breakthrough. Your fluency is your future. Start speaking it today. Section 4. Your sphere is your lifeline. When you're just starting out in real estate, the idea of finding your first clients can feel overwhelming. You might think you need to spend a fortune on online ads, buy leads from third-party platforms, or start cold calling total strangers. But here's the truth. Your first clients are likely already in your life. They're people who know you, like you, and, most importantly, trust you. That trust is your most valuable currency, especially in the early stages of your career. Shelley Zavitz makes this crystal clear in Your First 365 Days in Real Estate. Your sphere of influence is not just a contact list, it's your lifeline. Let's start with what your sphere actually is. It's not just your close friends and family. Your sphere includes your neighbors, college classmates, gym buddies, former co-workers, baristas who know your name, and even the people you casually chat with at community events. Anyone who recognizes your face or name is a potential seed in your real estate garden. The mistake many new agents make is assuming they need to wait until they know more or have experience before they reach out to these people. But the opposite is true. Your sphere is more likely to support you because you're just starting and they want to see you succeed. Why is your sphere so important? Because real estate is, above all, a relationship business. People don't want to hire someone they've never heard of when it comes to one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. They want to work with someone they trust, and trust is built through familiarity and consistency. Shelley's first real estate transaction didn't come from some cold lead or flashy online ad. It came from someone in her yoga class. Not because she pitched herself or handed out business cards after class, but because she showed up consistently, was honest about her journey, and made herself visible as a real estate professional. That person felt connected to Shelley's growth and decided to give her a shot. And that one transaction helped kick off a ripple effect of credibility and referrals. This shows us something vital. People want to work with people they already know, but only if you remind them what you do and show them how you can help. It's not enough to simply post, "I'm in real estate now," once on social media and hope the leads flood in. You have to treat your sphere with care and consistency. You have to show up, not sell out. That means offering value before asking for business. It means being present in their lives, not just when you need something, but when they do. So, how do you practically nurture your sphere in a way that builds business? Start by organizing your contacts. Use a CRM, customer relationship management tool. Even a basic spreadsheet will do if you're just getting started. Write down everyone you know: friends, family, neighbors, classmates, gym friends, your dentist, your dog groomer, everyone. Don't filter. The wider your list, the more opportunities you create. Once that list is built, categorize it into tiers based on how well you know the person and how likely they are to refer you. Then, start reaching out. But don't just say, "Hey, I'm in real estate now, send me clients." That kind of message feels transactional and often turns people off. Instead, lead with value. Let them know what you're doing and why you're excited about it. Offer to provide a free market update for their neighborhood. Share a quick insight about rising home values or how interest rates are impacting buyers. Tell them about a cool new listing or an inspiring client story. Position yourself as a resource, not a salesperson. Shelley emphasizes the power of storytelling in these conversations. Instead of saying, "Let me know if you need a real estate agent," try sharing a story about a first-time buyer who just found their dream home, or how a couple was able to sell their property quickly with the right strategy. Stories create emotional resonance. They're memorable. They help people imagine themselves in similar situations, and when the time comes, guess who they'll call? You also want to stay consistent. This isn't a one-time blast. It's an ongoing relationship. Set reminders in your CRM to follow up with each person every few months. Send them valuable content, like a personalized home equity report, a birthday card, or a short video explaining what's happening in the market. Think of yourself as a trusted advisor, not just a service provider. The more often your sphere sees you as an expert and a genuine human being, the more likely they are to reach out when real estate needs arise. Shelley also recommends showing up in person when you can. Attend community events. Volunteer. Join local organizations or interest groups. When people see you consistently, it builds familiarity. And when you're visible in your community, it sends a subtle but powerful message. I care. I'm engaged. I'm here to help. But what about the fear that often comes with reaching out to people you know? That voice that says, what if they think I'm being pushy? Or, what if I sound like I'm begging for business? Let's reframe that. You're not asking for favors. You're offering help. You're sharing your journey, providing insights, and inviting people into something meaningful. If you approach your sphere with sincerity and service, the fear begins to fade. You're not selling, you're serving. And here's a little secret. Even if someone in your sphere doesn't work with you directly, they can still refer you to someone who will. Every conversation is a door that opens to another. Every touch point is a seed you plant for future growth. Shelley's yoga class friend wasn't just a one-time transaction. It became a catalyst for referrals and confidence. Your sphere can do the same for you, but only if you water those relationships consistently. So here's your reflection challenge. Who are 10 people in your life that you haven't told you're in real estate yet? Not through a mass email or a social post, but personally. Write down their names. Call them. Text them. Send them a voice note. Reconnect with intention. Let them know what you're up to, why it matters to you, and how you're growing. Ask how they're doing. Lead with genuine interest. The response may surprise you. Your sphere isn't just a place to start. It's a foundation you'll return to again and again throughout your career. These are the people who can launch your business, sustain your confidence, and open new doors you didn't even know existed. But only if you treat those relationships like the lifeline they are. So stop waiting for strangers. Start with the people who already care, because they're not just your contacts. They're your community, and your future in real estate starts by serving them, one genuine connection at a time. Section 5. Open houses, your free stage. Open houses. For many new agents, they seem like simple events. Unlock the door, put out a few signs, smile at strangers, and wait for someone to show interest. But for those who understand their real power, open houses are so much more. They're not just scheduled blocks of time to show a property. They're your personal stage, your audition, and your most underutilized tool for building a real estate career from scratch. Shelley Zavitz, in Your First 365 Days in Real Estate, calls open houses her free stage, and she means it. This is where you get to practice your craft, polish your delivery, and impress potential clients face to face. No cold calling, no gatekeepers, no budget needed. Think about it. Where else can you stand in a beautiful home with a sign that says, "I'm the professional here," and meet a steady stream of real people who are actively thinking about buying or selling real estate? Nowhere else offers that unique blend of access, authority, and opportunity. And yet, many agents treat open houses like an inconvenience. They show up late, scroll their phones, make awkward small talk, and leave with nothing to show for it. That's not an opportunity. It's a missed one. Shelley understood this early. She chose to see every open house not as a chore, but as a performance. She didn't just open the door, she stepped into a role. She practiced her welcome script until it felt smooth and confident. She studied the property in detail so she could answer questions without hesitation. She researched the neighborhood, the school zones, and the recent sales so she could demonstrate value instantly. She didn't fake expertise. She earned it with preparation, and that preparation made her stand out. One particular open house changed everything for Shelley. She was filling in for another agent, just a standard Sunday showing, but she treated it like her name was on the listing. She welcomed every guest with genuine energy. She asked thoughtful questions. She listened. She followed up with handwritten notes and tailored emails. And from that one open house, she earned multiple clients because she wasn't just showing a home. She was showing herself. This is the shift new agents need to make. Open houses are not about the house. They're about you. Buyers walking in the door may or may not be interested in the property, but they're always watching you. They're paying attention to how you greet them, how confidently you speak, how much you know, and how well you listen. You're not just showcasing a property. You're showcasing the kind of agent you are. So how do you make the most of this free stage? Start with choosing the right properties. Not all open houses are created equal. Pick homes in high-traffic areas, popular neighborhoods, or ones that are priced to attract attention. If you don't have your own listings, ask other agents in your office if you can host for them. Most will say yes, especially if you're professional, respectful, and enthusiastic. Next, prepare like a pro. Study the MLS sheet thoroughly. Know the square footage, the year it was built, the taxes, the upgrades, the HOA fees, everything. Walk through the home beforehand and take your own notes. Anticipate the questions people might ask. Research the surrounding area so you can speak about schools, parks, local businesses, and market trends. Bring printed materials that visitors can take with them, flyers, neighborhood comps, and even a branded business card with a QR code linking to your website or social media. Your introduction matters more than you think. Script it if you have to, but make it sound natural. Greet each person with eye contact, a smile, and a warm welcome. Hi, I'm your name with your brokerage. Feel free to look around. Let me know if you have any questions. I've got some great info on the area if you're interested. That one moment can make someone feel seen and respected, or ignored and dismissed. Choose the first. But don't stop there. Be intentional about engaging visitors. Ask questions like, are you just starting your home search? Or have you been looking for a while? Or, what's most important to you in a home? These aren't invasive. They're invitations. They show you care and give you valuable insight. And once someone shares their story, you can follow up in a way that's personal and relevant. Speaking of follow-up, that's where the magic happens. Too many agents collect names and emails and then nothing. A missed opportunity. Every person you meet at an open house should go into your CRM, tagged with the date and property they visited. Then, reach out within 24 hours. Thank them for stopping by. Offer to send more listings like the one they saw. Invite them to another open house. If they mentioned being months away from buying, put a reminder on your calendar to check in later. Be the agent who remembers. Shelley's follow-up strategy wasn't complicated. It was consistent. She sent thank you texts, emails with added value, and occasional updates tailored to the person's interests. She didn't spam them. She built trust. And over time, those little touch points added up to a reputation. Clients began to refer her to friends, not because she was flashy, but because she was thoughtful. That all started with how she treated them in the 5 minutes they walked through that open house door. Now, let's talk about energy. People can feel it. If you show up drained, distracted, or disengaged, it's obvious. But if you treat the event like the golden opportunity it is, that enthusiasm becomes contagious. Play soft music in the background. Light a candle if the listing allows. Bring snacks or drinks. Set a vibe. Make the experience memorable, not mechanical. Even if no one shows up, which sometimes happens, you still win. Why? Because you had a few uninterrupted hours to master your presentation. You had time to film a video tour for your social media. You practiced your scripts. You built confidence. Every open house, no matter how quiet, is a training ground. And that training pays off when it counts. So here's your reflection challenge. Are you treating your open houses like an opportunity or an obligation? Are you showing up to fill time or to fill your pipeline? Are you walking in hoping for traffic or preparing to own the stage even if only one person comes through the door? Every open house is a chance to refine your message, to connect with future clients, and to become the kind of agent people remember. It's a free stage. The spotlight is yours. What are you going to do with it? Section 6. Mindset is your greatest asset. If there's one thing that separates those who thrive in their first year of real estate from those who crash and burn, it's not skill. It's not marketing. It's not even leads. It's mindset. Your attitude, your internal dialogue, and the way you handle stress, setbacks, and uncertainty, that's the real battleground. In your first 365 days in real estate, Shelley Zavitz doesn't sugarcoat the emotional roller coaster of starting your real estate career. It's hard. It's lonely at times. It's financially inconsistent and mentally draining. But Shelley also makes one thing very clear. If you can master your mind, you can master the game. Here's the truth that most real estate schools won't teach you. Your first year isn't just about learning contracts and closing deals. It's about becoming someone new. It's about letting go of old beliefs that no longer serve you and replacing them with powerful, grounded truths. The people who quit in their first year usually don't fail because they weren't smart enough or didn't try hard enough. They fail because they let fear, comparison, or imposter syndrome talk them out of the fight. Shelley shares a story that's brutally honest and incredibly relatable. After a particularly difficult day, where nothing went right, where clients ghosted her, where she felt like a fraud, she got into her car, shut the door, and cried. Not just a tear or two. She broke down. Everything felt heavy. The pressure, the doubt, the fear of being judged, the sense that maybe this wasn't going to work out. And in that moment, she hit a fork in the road. Give up or grow through it. She chose growth. She chose to see the struggle not as a sign she was failing, but as proof she was learning. And that's the choice every new agent must make, again and again. Will you let adversity define you or refine you? Mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And like any muscle, it needs daily reps. Start with affirmations. Not fluffy, vague platitudes, but real, grounded truths that reshape how you think. I am learning every day. I bring value even when I'm new. I don't need to know everything. I need to be willing to figure it out. These aren't just words. They're anchors that keep you steady when the storm hits. Another mindset tool Shelley used was tracking wins. Every win, no matter how small. Booked a showing? That's a win. Had a tough conversation and handled it with grace? Win. Got rejected, but followed up anyway? Huge win. In a business where success isn't always visible right away, tracking your progress is essential. It keeps you grounded in momentum instead of drowning in doubt. Surrounding yourself with the right people is also critical. This is not a solo journey. The voices around you influence the voice inside you. Are you hanging out with agents who complain all day and make excuses? Or those who lift you up and challenge you to grow? Shelley sought out mentors, not for shortcuts, but for strength. She found people who had been through the fire and made it out stronger. And by simply listening to how they spoke, how they thought, how they responded to challenges, her own mindset began to shift. Being coachable is part of that growth process. It means letting go of pride and embracing the idea that you don't know everything. It means asking questions without shame, accepting feedback without defensiveness, and staying humble enough to evolve. Shelley reminds us that real estate will expose your weaknesses, but that's a gift, not a punishment. It shows you where you need to grow, and growth is the entire point of your first year. But let's get honest. Some days, the mindset battle feels impossible. You'll have mornings where you wake up paralyzed by fear. You'll wonder if you're cut out for this. You'll compare yourself to top producers and feel miles behind. And that's okay. Those moments are part of the process. What matters is what you do with them. One powerful exercise Shelley recommends is writing down your limiting beliefs and then challenging them directly. Think of it as a mental audit. What's the lie that's looping in your head right now? I'm too new. No one's going to trust me. I'm not good at sales. Write it down. Then, write the opposite truth beside it. I'm new, but I bring fresh energy and hunger. People trust honesty and effort, not just experience. Sales is just service with clarity and confidence. Do this regularly. Rewire the narrative. Your thoughts create your outcomes. Also, don't underestimate the power of self-talk. When things go wrong, how do you speak to yourself? Do you spiral into blame and shame? Or do you coach yourself through it like a mentor would? Learn to become your own biggest supporter. Celebrate effort. Forgive mistakes. Encourage yourself in the mirror if you have to. Because if you don't back yourself, no one else will. Remember, real estate isn't just an external business. It's an internal game. The deals, the clients, the marketing, that's all surface level. Your mindset is the engine that drives all of it. And if that engine is fueled by self-doubt, fear, or negativity, no strategy will work. But if it's fueled by resilience, clarity, and purpose, nothing can stop you. Shelley's journey wasn't perfect. She had breakdowns, doubts, and detours. But she didn't quit. She grew. And that growth came not from everything going right, but from choosing to rise when everything went wrong. That's what mindset mastery looks like. So here's your reflection challenge. What's the limiting belief that's holding you back right now? Is it about your worth, your experience, your ability to succeed? Write it down. Be honest. Then, directly beside it, write the opposite truth. Not what you wish were true, but what is true when you step into your power. Keep it where you can see it. Repeat it. Live it. Because your first year in real estate will test you. It will shake you. But it will also build you, if you let it. You're not just building a business. You're building you. And your mindset is the foundation that everything else stands on. Let it be strong. Let it be resilient. Let it be yours. Section 7. Time management for new agents. Time. It's the one resource every agent has in equal measure, yet it's the one that separates top producers from those who barely survive their first year. In real estate, you don't sell products, you sell service, and your service is delivered in the form of time. That makes time your inventory. Mismanage it, and you bleed opportunity. Respect it, and you build wealth. Shelley Zavitz, in Your First 365 Days in Real Estate, makes a powerful point. If you don't get serious about managing your time from day one, the business will control you instead of the other way around. The early days of a real estate career can feel chaotic. You don't have clients yet, or maybe you have one, but you're not sure what to do next. You wake up with vague intentions like, I'll make some calls, or I should learn more about contracts. But then the day slips away in a haze of distractions, scrolling social media, checking emails, organizing your desk again. You feel busy all day, but nothing meaningful moves forward. By the end of the week, you wonder why you haven't made progress. Shelley found herself in that trap. She was putting in long hours but wasn't seeing results. She convinced herself that researching neighborhoods, tweaking her website, or rearranging her home office was being productive. But deep down, she knew she was avoiding the hard things like prospecting, lead follow-up, and client conversations. So, she decided to track her time, hour by hour, for an entire week. What she discovered was eye-opening. A massive chunk of her day was going to safe tasks, things that felt important but didn't generate income. That moment changed everything. She realized that time, like money, needs to be budgeted. It needs to be blocked, protected, and allocated based on what matters most. And what matters most in your first year? Generating leads, building relationships, following up, learning. These are the core activities that grow your business. Everything else is noise. To manage your time effectively, you need a daily schedule, one that's intentional, repeatable, and focused. Shelley recommends using time blocks, assigning specific hours of the day to specific tasks. For example, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., block time for lead generation, cold calls, follow-up texts, emails, door knocking, whatever fits your strategy. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., block time for learning. Read a chapter from a real estate book, watch a training video, or role-play scripts with a colleague. From 11 a.m. to noon, focus on admin tasks like updating your CRM, writing thank you notes, or scheduling appointments. After lunch, block a window for showings, listing presentations, or prospect meetings. Late afternoons can be used for social media content, market research, or nurturing your sphere. And somewhere in that day, don't forget to block time for reflection, journaling, or simply breathing. Without that, burnout comes fast. This structure isn't about being rigid. It's about being clear. When you know what you're supposed to be doing And when your brain relaxes, you stop wasting energy on indecision or second-guessing. You just follow the plan, and over time, that discipline creates massive momentum. But let's be honest, sticking to a schedule is tough, especially when no one's holding you accountable, especially when your phone is buzzing and Netflix is calling. That's why Shelley emphasizes the importance of self-leadership. You must become the kind of person who follows through, even when no one's watching. The kind of person who does what's necessary, not just what's comfortable. One powerful trick she used was setting alarms on her phone to signal the start and end of each time block. That sound served as a mental reset, a reminder to shift focus and get back on track. She also reviewed her day each night, asking, "Did I do what I said I would do today? If not, why? What got in the way?" This simple review process helped her see patterns and make small but impactful adjustments. Shelley also encourages agents to batch their tasks. For example, instead of checking email 15 times a day, block one window in the morning and one in the afternoon to handle all email correspondence. Instead of constantly switching between learning, prospecting, and admin work, do them in focused sprints. This reduces mental clutter and improves your ability to go deep on the task at hand. And perhaps most importantly, protect your lead generation time like it's sacred. Because it is. That's your lifeblood. No matter how new or nervous you feel, those calls and conversations are where your business is built. Shelley admits she used to accidentally skip that block of time, telling herself she was too busy, too tired, or that it wasn't a good time to call. But that avoidance came at a cost. Once she prioritized it, made it non-negotiable, everything changed. Her pipeline grew, her confidence grew, and so did her results. Time management isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. And it's also about recognizing when you're lying to yourself. Shelley's story about tracking her time is so relatable because we've all done it. We've all convinced ourselves that working on our brand colors is more urgent than picking up the phone. But if you want results, you need to do the work that creates results. That often means doing the hard, uncomfortable things first. So let's talk about your day. What does your current schedule look like? Where in your routine are you busy instead of productive? What are the tasks you do to feel accomplished that actually just help you avoid the real work? Be honest with yourself. Then make a plan to fix it. Create your time blocks. Set alarms if needed. Put reminders on your wall. Track your time for a week and see where it really goes. Here's your reflection challenge. Where in your day are you busy instead of productive? Identify one time-wasting habit, whether it's mindless scrolling, overchecking your email, or hiding behind admin tasks, and replace it with one income-producing activity. Do it for 7 days, and watch what happens. Time is your inventory. You're not selling homes, you're selling how you use your hours. And every minute you waste is a moment you could have been planting a seed for future growth. The agents who succeed aren't the ones who have the most talent. They're the ones who treat every hour like it matters, because it does. So don't just manage your time, master it. Treat it like the precious, powerful asset it is. Because when you control your time, you control your destiny. Section 8. Working with Buyers, the Reality. If you're a new agent, chances are your first few clients will be buyers, and that's great news. While listings are powerful long-term assets, buyers are often the fastest way to get to your first closing. They're motivated, they're in motion, and if you guide them right, they will close. But here's the part most new agents don't hear enough. Working with buyers can be chaotic, exhausting, and emotionally draining if you don't have a clear process in place. In your first 365 days in real estate, Shelley Zavitz gives an honest look into the world of buyer representation. Not the polished version, but the real one. And it's filled with important lessons. Let's start with the core truth. Buyers can eat up your time. Endless showings, late-night texts, constant shifts in direction. One day, they love the city. The next, they want a farmhouse in the hills. But they're not doing this to mess with you. They're making one of the biggest financial and emotional decisions of their lives. And your job isn't just to unlock doors. Your job is to lead, to educate, to protect, and to set boundaries early. Shelley learned this the hard way. One of her early buyers was enthusiastic but scattered. They wanted to see homes 7 days a week, often at the last minute. They'd fall in love with a home, then ghost her for days. She kept saying yes because she wanted to be helpful, because she thought saying no would risk the deal. But soon, she was burned out. Her personal life was suffering. Her business wasn't growing because all her time and energy was wrapped around one indecisive client. That's when she realized something powerful. Without boundaries, she wasn't helping. She was enabling. That experience taught her the value of the buyer consultation, a formal meeting that sets the tone, expectations, and professional boundaries of the relationship. Too many agents skip this step because they're eager to please. They meet a buyer, jump in their car, and start showing homes without asking the important questions. But that's a recipe for frustration. A consultation changes everything. It positions you as a professional. It gives the buyer clarity, and it protects your time, energy, and sanity. So what goes into a great buyer consultation? Start with qualifying. Not just financially, but emotionally and practically. Are they pre-approved? Have they talked to a lender? Do they understand their monthly payment comfort zone? Do they know what kind of home they want? Or are they still window shopping? These questions help you understand if this buyer is ready or just curious. Next, set expectations. Be clear about your availability, your communication style, and your process. Let them know how showings will be scheduled, how offers are submitted, and what happens once they go under contract. This isn't about being rigid. It's about providing structure. Buyers actually crave leadership, even if they don't say it. When you show up with a plan, you reduce their anxiety and build their trust. Then, educate. Many buyers, especially first-timers, don't understand how the process works. Walk them through every step. Explain inspections, appraisals, earnest money, contingencies, closing costs. Use visuals if needed. The more informed your buyers are, the smoother the process will be. And when surprises come up, and they will, they'll look to you with confidence, not confusion or panic. But even with a great consultation, working with buyers still requires patience, persistence, and a lot of communication. That's where follow-up comes in. After every showing, check in. What did you like about the house? What didn't work? These questions help you refine their criteria. If they go quiet, don't assume they're lost. Reach out. Text, call, send listings. Stay in their world without overwhelming them. Shelley emphasizes being relentless in your follow-up, not to pressure, but to stay present. Because often, buyers go silent not because they're uninterested, but because they're overwhelmed. Your steady presence makes you the one they trust when they're finally ready to act. Now, let's talk about something agents rarely prepare for: rejection. Sometimes, after weeks or months of hard work, a buyer will choose another agent. Or worse, they'll buy a house without telling you. It hurts. It feels personal. But Shelley reminds us, it's not always about you. Sometimes it's about timing, chemistry, or miscommunication. Don't let one lost buyer make you bitter. Learn from it. Were expectations clear? Did you follow up enough? Did you demonstrate enough value? Let those questions shape your next approach, not your self-worth. Shelley also talks about emotional boundaries. Buyers can become friends. You spend time together. You bond over shared experiences. But remember, you are a professional first. Keep communication focused. Be kind, but don't become their therapist. Protect your mental space so you can serve them effectively. This balance takes time to master, but it starts with self-awareness. And here's something beautiful about working with buyers. When done well, they become your biggest fans. They remember how you showed up when they were unsure. They remember how you made the process feel safe and exciting. And when it's all over, they refer their friends. They write glowing reviews. They become your brand ambassadors. Shelley's best referrals came from buyers because she treated them with care, clarity, and professionalism from day one. So, what does your buyer process look like right now? Do you have a consultation framework? A checklist of questions? A buyer's guide you can hand out? If not, now's the time. Don't wait until things go wrong. Build your system now so you can lead with confidence. Here's your reflection challenge. Do you have a buyer consultation process? If not, start creating one today. It doesn't have to be fancy. Start with a simple script. Who are they? What do they want? Are they ready? What's the process? Then build from there. The goal is to create structure for both you and the buyer. Working with buyers isn't always easy. It can test your patience and your boundaries, but it's also one of the most rewarding parts of the job. You get to be their guide, their advocate, their steady hand in a sea of unknowns. And when you help someone buy their first home or their dream home, you become part of their story forever. So show up with clarity, lead with strength, and treat every buyer like the future referral source they could be. Because when you work with intention, even the messiest buyer journey becomes a masterclass in growth, service, and success. Section 9. Handling your first listing. Landing your first listing is one of the most exhilarating and intimidating moments in your real estate career. It feels like you've finally stepped into the big leagues. You're no longer just chasing buyers. You're leading a transaction. You're the face of the property, the trusted advisor to the seller, and the strategist responsible for everything from pricing and marketing to negotiations and closing. In your first 365 days in real estate, Shelley Zavitz puts it plainly: Listings are leverage, but they're also a serious test of your professionalism, and how you handle your first one can shape your reputation and your future business. Let's start with the reality. Listings aren't just about putting a "for sale" sign in the yard and waiting for the offers to roll in. They're about positioning, about storytelling, about trust. A listing is a business opportunity and a marketing campaign. You are showcasing not just the home, but your brand. And that means preparation is everything. Shelley shares the story of her first listing with refreshing honesty. She was excited, but the fear was real. The sellers were trusting her with their most valuable asset, and she felt the weight of that responsibility. She knew she didn't have years of experience, but what she did have was a relentless commitment to preparation. She researched comparable properties, ran pricing strategies, practiced her listing presentation, and worked on her scripts every night. She didn't pretend to know everything. She made it her mission to learn everything she could. That attitude, that hunger to earn trust, is what carried her through. That story reveals a crucial truth. Confidence doesn't come from already having done it. It comes from being prepared to do it well. When you're sitting across from a seller, they're not just listening to your words, they're measuring your presence. Do you sound like someone who knows their stuff? Are you clear about your process? Can you answer their questions without hesitation? Those moments of interaction are where listings are won or lost. So, how do you prepare to handle your first listing with professionalism and power? It begins with understanding the why behind every step. Why does pricing matter so much? Because the wrong price can cause a property to sit on the market, gather dust, and eventually sell for less. Why does staging matter? Because buyers buy emotionally, and the right presentation can create that "I need this home" moment. Why does marketing matter? Because the more eyes you get on the home, the more leverage you have when offers come in. Start with pricing. Don't guess. Use the MLS to pull accurate comps. Look at recently sold properties, active competition, and homes that failed to sell. Understand what makes your listing different, better or worse, and price accordingly. Use this data to build a pricing strategy you can explain to the seller with clarity. And be prepared to have tough conversations. Sellers often overestimate the value of their homes. Your job isn't to agree, it's to educate with empathy and facts. Next, nail your listing presentation. This is your audition. Walk them through the process, step by step. How you'll prepare the home, market it, show it, negotiate offers, and bring it to closing. Show them samples of your marketing, flyers, social media posts, professional photos, video tours. If you don't have your own yet, borrow examples from your brokerage or team. Sellers want to know you have a plan and that you care enough to execute it with excellence. Staging is another area where many new agents overlook the details. A cluttered, poorly lit home won't photograph well or show well. Offer staging advice based on the property's style and target audience. If possible, partner with a local stager or use virtual staging tools. Even simple changes, decluttering, fresh paint, better lighting, can dramatically boost perceived value. Help your clients see their home not just as theirs, but as a product now entering the marketplace. Then there's marketing, your chance to shine. Great photos are non-negotiable. Don't DIY this. Hire a professional photographer. Consider video tours, drone shots, and floor plans. Create a marketing calendar and share it with your seller. Post the listing on your website, in your newsletter, on social platforms, and through local groups. Open houses, neighborhood mailers, email blasts. These all show the seller that you're not just listing their home, you're launching it. But here's something equally important: communication. Once you've secured the listing, your job isn't over. It's just begun. Stay in touch with your seller every step of the way. Update them on showing feedback, market response, and new activity in the area. Set a communication schedule: weekly updates, post-showing texts, and check-ins if the home is sitting. Most listing complaints come from a lack of communication, not a lack of results. Shelley learned this firsthand. During her first listing, she over-delivered on updates. Even when nothing was happening, she checked in. She made the seller feel seen and respected. That small detail built trust, and that trust turned into referrals. Her seller didn't just sell a home, they became a walking advertisement for Shelley's work ethic. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: fear. Your first listing will feel intimidating. What if you mess up the paperwork? What if it doesn't sell? What if the seller doesn't like you? These fears are normal. But the solution isn't to avoid the opportunity, it's to prepare for it. Talk to your broker. Shadow a seasoned agent. Role-play your listing appointment. Watch listing videos online. Every minute you spend preparing builds a stronger foundation for when that first opportunity comes. And if someone handed you a listing tomorrow, how prepared would you be? That's your reflection challenge. Don't wait until you're in front of a seller to scramble. Start now. Create your listing checklist. Build your presentation. Learn how to run a comparative market analysis. Practice your pricing conversation. Write out your marketing plan. Study successful listings in your market. Preparation is the difference between panic and professionalism. Listings aren't just about selling homes. They're about building your brand. Every listing, especially your first, is a billboard for how you operate. Nail it, and it can lead to more listings, buyer leads, and long-term success. But treat it casually, and it could damage your reputation before you even get started. So when that first listing comes your way, don't just show up, step up. Bring the energy, the knowledge, the plan, and the follow-through. Show your seller that you may be new, but you're serious. Because when you handle your first listing with excellence, you're not just helping someone sell a home. You're proving to yourself and your market that you belong here. Section 10. Mistakes, failures, and fear. Let's cut to the truth. You will mess up in your first year. You'll forget a form, fumble a showing, misread a client, or make the wrong call in a negotiation. It's not a possibility, it's a guarantee. And if that scares you, good. That means you care. But here's the core idea Shelley Zavitz drives home in your first 365 days in real estate. Mistakes aren't what ruin new agents. Fear is. More specifically, the fear of messing up so badly that you never recover. But Shelley makes it clear, what matters is not whether you fail. What matters is how you respond. In real estate, failure isn't a flaw. It's feedback. And yet, So many new agents are paralyzed by the need to get everything perfect. They hesitate to pick up the phone. They wait too long to make a move. They overthink until opportunity passes them by. Why? Because they're afraid of looking stupid, afraid of saying the wrong thing, afraid of being exposed as too new. That fear steals more potential than any mistake ever could. Shelley tells a story of one of her earliest deals, a situation that went sideways fast. The contract was shaky. The expectations between buyer and seller weren't aligned. And in the middle of the chaos, she realized she had miscommunicated something critical. It was a mistake, plain and simple. Her stomach dropped. That internal voice of panic screamed, "You blew it." And maybe she did. But instead of covering it up, Shelley owned it. She called the client immediately. She apologized. She explained what happened, and she laid out a plan to fix it. That call changed everything. Because in that moment, the client didn't need a perfect agent. They needed an honest one. Someone who didn't disappear when things got hard. Someone who stood in the fire and said, "Here's what I'm going to do about it." And what Shelley gained from that wasn't just a resolution to the deal. It was trust. Long-term, unwavering trust. That client referred her to others and became part of her foundation. Not because she never failed, but because she showed up with integrity when she did. This is the real work of being a professional. It's not avoiding mistakes. It's owning them, learning from them, and letting them make you stronger. And that starts with building a new relationship with failure. Instead of seeing it as a verdict on your ability, see it as data. Feedback. A stepping stone. Every misstep is a lesson in disguise if you're willing to lean in and ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" One of the most powerful tools you can develop is a lessons learned journal. Every time something goes wrong, or even slightly off, write it down. What happened? What did you do? What would you do differently next time? This process of reflection turns mistakes into momentum. Over time, you'll look back and see a pattern of growth. You'll realize that you don't make the same mistakes twice because you paid attention the first time. And let's not forget the power of debriefing after every deal. Even when things go well, take a moment to review. What worked? What could have been smoother? What did the client appreciate most? This practice sharpens your instincts, reinforces good habits, and reveals blind spots before they become problems. But don't go it alone. One of Shelley's best pieces of advice is to find mentors who normalize failure. People who have been through it and are honest about their scars. Avoid the ones who pretend they've always had it together. That's not real. Real mentorship sounds like, "Yep, I did that too. Here's how I fixed it." When you surround yourself with truth-tellers, failure stops feeling like the end of the world and starts feeling like part of the process. Now, let's talk about fear, the quiet killer of potential. Fear doesn't always show up as panic. Sometimes it shows up as procrastination, as excuses, as "I'll make that call tomorrow," or "I'm not ready to list yet." It's sneaky, but underneath all that hesitation is usually the same core fear. What if I mess up and someone finds out I'm not good enough? But here's what Shelley would tell you. You are good enough. If you're willing to grow, you don't need to have all the answers today. You just need the courage to keep showing up, to take the next call, to face the next challenge, to clean up the mess when things go wrong and move forward with clarity. The truth is, failure is your best teacher. It reveals your blind spots. It toughens your skin. It sharpens your instincts. And if you keep learning, it will eventually become your competitive edge. The agents who grow fastest are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who engage with it, who say, "What can I learn from this?" instead of, "Why did this happen to me?" So let's bring it back to you. What's one failure or mistake you've made, or fear you've been holding on to, that you can reframe as a learning moment right now? Write it down. Don't just brush past it. Sit with it. Study it. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What would I do differently next time? How can this make me better? Because that's how you transform fear into fuel. That's how you become the kind of agent clients trust. Not because you're perfect, but because you're honest, humble, and hungry to improve. And here's a little secret. Even the top producers make mistakes. They forget things. Deals fall apart. They still have rough days. The difference? They bounce back faster. They own it. They keep moving. And so can you. You're going to make missteps in your first year. That's not a warning. It's a promise. But if you're willing to face those mistakes head-on, learn from them, and grow through them, you'll come out stronger, smarter, and far more confident on the other side. Failure isn't the enemy. Fear of failure is. So go ahead, mess up, stumble, learn, then get back up and do it better. Because that's how professionals are made. Section 11. The power of daily action. If there's one truth that ties everything together in your first 365 days in real estate, it's this. Success doesn't come from one massive breakthrough. It comes from showing up every single day. In a world obsessed with hacks, shortcuts, and overnight success stories, Shelley Zavitz brings us back to something simple, powerful, and often overlooked. The compound power of daily action. When you build momentum through small, consistent steps, you create something more powerful than luck. You create progress you can control. Let's face it, your first year in real estate is overwhelming. There's so much to learn, so many tools, so many directions you could go. It's easy to get distracted by shiny objects, new CRMs, ad strategies, online leads, webinars, networking groups. And while all of those things can be helpful, they're not what makes or breaks your business. What really matters? What you do today, and tomorrow, and the day after that. Shelley realized this when she found herself constantly chasing that big idea. She was reading books, watching videos, following top agents, hoping that if she could just find the right strategy, everything would suddenly click. But she kept feeling stuck. She kept feeling like she was spinning her wheels. Then one day, it hit her. She didn't need another idea. She needed execution. She needed to do the basic things, the boring things, the hard things, every day. That realization changed everything. Instead of chasing magic, she built a routine. She picked 3 actions she could take every single day, no matter how busy or tired or discouraged she felt. 1 action to learn, 1 action to connect, and 1 action to generate leads. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing dramatic. Just 3 things. And she committed to doing them without fail. And what happened next? her business took off. Because that's the power of consistency. When you learn something every day, you build your confidence and skill set. When you connect with someone every day, a past client, a friend, a local business owner, you expand your network and build your reputation. When you prospect or follow up every day, you keep your pipeline moving and your mindset sharp. Shelley's story proves what most agents learn the hard way. Consistency beats intensity. It's not about how hard you hustle one day, it's about whether you showed up the next. Momentum doesn't come from bursts of motivation. It comes from discipline, from rhythm, from the quiet choice to keep going when no one's watching. So how do you apply this in your life? Start by identifying your 3 non-negotiables. 1 for learning, 1 for connection, 1 for lead generation. Make them simple and doable. Something you can stick to even on your worst days. For learning, it might be, read 10 pages from a real estate book. Watch a 10-minute training video. Listen to a podcast during your commute. For connection, it might be, call or text one person in your sphere. Comment meaningfully on a past client's social post. Send a handwritten note to someone you met recently. For lead generation, it might be, make 5 prospecting calls. Knock on 3 doors in your farm area. Follow up with 1 old lead in your CRM. It doesn't matter what exact actions you choose. What matters is that you choose them and stick to them. Track them if you need to. Use a journal, a spreadsheet, a habit tracker. Whatever keeps you honest and motivated. Make it visible. Make it satisfying to check off those boxes. At first, it might feel slow. You might not see results immediately. That's normal. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree the next morning. You water it, you nurture it, and you trust that growth is happening beneath the surface. That's exactly what daily action does in real estate. The calls you make this week may turn into business 6 months from now. The notes you write today might become listings in a year. The habits you build now will define your career forever. And let's be clear, there will be days when you don't feel like it, days when the phone feels heavy, days when the market is slow, days when doubt creeps in. Do it anyway. That's where the magic lives. Not in the easy days, but in the days you show up without feeling ready. Because every time you follow through on your promise to yourself, you build something far more powerful than leads. You build trust in your own word. And that's the foundation of confidence. Shelley says her turning point wasn't a big deal that dropped out of the sky. It was the moment she stopped waiting to feel ready and started doing the work. No matter what. That shift from hoping to acting was what unlocked everything. So here's your reflection challenge. What 3 daily actions will you commit to for the next 30 days? Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Write them down. Set reminders. Share them with a friend or accountability partner. But most importantly, do them. Rain or shine. Busy or slow. Motivated or not. Because real estate isn't won in a day. It's won in the daily grind. The moments no one sees. The effort no one applauds. The work that stacks up and suddenly turns into momentum, referrals, confidence, and income. You're not just building a business. You're building a discipline, a habit of excellence, a mindset of consistency. And the best part? You're always one day away from getting back on track, one choice away from momentum, one small action away from growth. So stop chasing perfect. Stop waiting for motivation. Choose your 3 and begin. Because success isn't about big wins. It's about small actions done daily, with heart, with intention, and with the belief that what you're building matters. And it does. You do. Now go. Show up today. Then do it again tomorrow. That's how careers are made. That's how your next 365 days will transform everything. Conclusion. You've just taken a deep dive into what it truly means to walk through your first 365 days in real estate. This wasn't a sugar-coated highlight reel or a fantasy of instant 6-figure commissions. This was the real journey. The late nights, the failed deals, the terrifying first listing presentation, the small wins that felt like mountains, and the everyday grind that turns beginners into professionals. What you've just experienced is the roadmap Shelley Zavitz carved out from her own first year. Every chapter, every insight, every moment shared came from someone who's been where you are, uncertain, overwhelmed, full of hope, and determined to succeed. If you're feeling nervous or even scared, take a breath. You are not alone in this. Every great agent started where you are. And while the path isn't easy, it is absolutely possible. You don't have to know everything today. You don't have to be perfect. What matters is that you keep moving, keep showing up, keep growing. Your confidence will come through action, not waiting. Your skills will sharpen with experience, not theory. And your career will blossom through consistency, not luck. You might feel like you're behind or like everyone else has it figured out. But the truth is, you're right on time. The market needs agents like you, agents with heart, grit, and the willingness to learn. You are not too late. You are not too inexperienced. You are just getting started. And that's where all the magic lives. Now, don't let these insights sit idle. Pick one lesson that stood out to you. Maybe it was how Shelley turned daily actions into momentum. Maybe it was her honest story about failure and how it deepened her clients' trust. Maybe it was the power of preparation for that very first listing. Whatever resonated with you most, choose it. Apply it today. Then show up tomorrow and do it again. The power isn't in how much you learn. It's in what you do with what you've learned. Your first year in real estate can be the most defining chapter of your life. It can break you, or it can build you into someone stronger, more courageous, and more capable than you ever imagined.